Today, we've got to dive into what's been happening around Selena Gomez lately, because honestly, it feels like every little moment of hers is sparking massive conversations online. From surprise appearances to unsettling interview clips, fans are left with more questions than answers. And the way everything is playing out says a lot about where Selena is in her life and career right now. The biggest buzz came when she popped up on Kai Cenat's livestream. No warning, no build-up, she just appeared alongside her fiancé Benny Blanco, and instantly the internet lit up. Benny did the usual guest thing, chatting with Kai, celebrating his subscriber milestone, and signing a $5,000 gaming PC setup. But Selena? She was on a different wavelength. Instead of playing into the stream's routine, she noticed Kai's sister and handed her a thoughtful gift she'd brought just for her. It was a small human moment in the middle of all the noise, and it completely stole the spotlight. That's classic Selena, skipping the flashy, expected move and making something heartfelt instead. But then came the part that got everyone talking. Selena didn't stick around. She hugged everyone, said her goodbyes, and slipped out, leaving Benny to carry on without her. Fans immediately started asking, was this just a planned cameo, or did she leave early for another reason? Theories spread fast, especially when paired with another viral moment, a strange interview clip where Selena suddenly froze mid-answer, her face completely still, one eye locked in place for several seconds. Watching live, it felt eerie. And because it wasn't a glitch, she really did go motionless. It left fans deeply concerned. Social media dissected every frame. Some chalked it up to exhaustion, others speculated about cosmetic procedures, and many pointed to her well-known lupus battle. While nobody has a clear answer, the clip reignited discussions about how hard the industry pushes its stars and how much pressure Selena has carried over the years. She's been brutally honest about her health struggles, from her lupus diagnosis to her kidney transplant and her ongoing fight with mental health. That openness has built a fierce loyalty among her fans, who see her not as an untouchable celebrity, but as someone real. Which is why moments like this spark so much worry. They don't want to see her pushed past her limits. Through it all, Selena's relationship with Benny Blanco has become a steadying force. They've shared traditions like revisiting their first date spot and even cooking together in the kitchen, showing a love that feels grounded and authentic. Fans often note how Benny balances her warmth with his low-key vibe, and how his industry experience gives him a rare ability to understand what she faces. That kind of support is vital, especially when the spotlight can be as harsh as it is for Selena. And this is the balance of her story right now. On one side, the heartwarming gestures that remind everyone why she's beloved. On the other, the viral moments that expose her vulnerability and spark endless speculation. Together, they paint the picture of someone who is human above all else. Selena Gomez isn't just a headline, she's a person navigating life, health, love, and fame all at once, in front of millions of eyes. And maybe that's why fans remain so protective. Because even when the internet tries to turn her life into gossip, her true community sees her humanity first. They'll stand by her whether she's glowing on a live stream, freezing mid-interview, or simply living her life on her own terms. If you're still here, that shows you're part of that community too. People who want to look past the headlines and understand the human story behind them. Stick around because this conversation isn't going anywhere, and together, we'll keep unpacking what really matters. What makes this chapter of Selena's life even more fascinating is how it highlights the contrast between her past and her present. For years, Selena was defined by public romances, constant scrutiny, and the kind of drama that seemed impossible to escape. Every move she made was tied to speculation about who she was dating, what she was feeling, or whether a cryptic post meant more than it seemed. But now, with Benny, she's presenting something entirely different. A relationship that doesn't revolve around spectacle, but around shared experiences, traditions, and quiet moments of love. And yet, even as she moves forward, the past has a way of resurfacing. Fans online still draw comparisons between Selena's happiness now and the heartbreak she went through years ago. Clips from her interviews with Justin Bieber are still shared daily, layered against her current love story. This constant cycle of looking back makes every new moment feel even more loaded. When she froze in that viral interview, people weren't just worried about her health, they were linking it to years of emotional and physical struggles she's already spoken about. When she brought a gift to Kai's sister, people compared it to the way she's always been thoughtful in her relationships, both public and private. It's as if her present can never exist without her past being dragged alongside it. That's part of the double-edged sword of fame, especially when you've grown up in the spotlight. No matter how far Selena moves forward, the world insists on connecting today's events to yesterday's stories. And while that might be frustrating, it also shows how deeply she's etched into pop culture. She isn't just another celebrity. She's someone people feel invested in, like her life is an ongoing story they can't stop following. That's why these recent events, her live stream cameo, her candid confessions about saying "I love you" first, her brief but emotional interview slip have sparked such strong reactions. They're not just isolated moments. To fans, they're puzzle pieces in a larger narrative about resilience, authenticity, and the cost of living in the spotlight. And that's why the world can't stop talking about Selena Gomez. At the heart of all this is the question so many fans keep circling back to: how much does Selena really owe the public? She has already given more of herself than most people ever would. She's been transparent about her lupus, her kidney transplant, her mental health, and the toll that fame has taken on her. She's allowed her supporters into the most vulnerable corners of her life. And still, every time she steps into the spotlight, people want more. More answers, more explanations, more proof that she's okay. That pressure can be overwhelming. Imagine going through a tough moment, even something as small as zoning out or freezing for a few seconds, and then seeing it dissected by millions of strangers online. Imagine people creating theories about your health, your choices, your personal life, all without ever knowing the full story. For most of us, that would be unbearable. But for Selena, it's part of her daily reality, and yet, what stands out is how she handles it. She doesn't lash out. She doesn't feed into the negativity. Instead, she quietly redirects attention back to her work, her music, and her projects. Even in her relationship with Benny, she's chosen to highlight the small human gestures. The way they cook together, the way they revisit their first date spot, the way they share simple traditions. It's almost like her response to the chaos is to double down on authenticity, to remind people that she's not a headline, but a person. For fans, that's what makes her so easy to root for. She isn't perfect, and she doesn't try to be. She isn't constantly staging glossy moments to convince the world she's happy. Instead, she's building her life brick by brick, sometimes in ways that are messy, sometimes in ways that are beautiful, but always in ways that feel real. And that's exactly why every small moment, whether it's a gift to Kai's sister or a pause in an interview, becomes so magnified. People feel like they know her, like they've been part of her story all along. That overlap between Selena's personal and professional life is one of the most fascinating parts of her journey right now. On one hand, she's an artist and entrepreneur at the peak of her career. Only Murders in the Building keeps her firmly in the spotlight as an actress. Rare Beauty is breaking records in the beauty industry, and her music continues to resonate deeply with fans. On the other hand, every one of these achievements is accompanied by a personal narrative that the public can't seem to separate from her work. When she walks into an award show, people aren't just talking about her nominations, they're also speculating about her past with Justin Bieber or analyzing her dynamic with Benny Blanco. When Rare Beauty launches a new product line, the conversation doesn't just stay on the quality of the makeup, it inevitably circles back to comparisons with Hailey Bieber's brand. And when she sings about love, heartbreak, or healing, fans immediately connect the dots to her real-life experiences, weaving them into the lyrics whether she confirms it or not. This constant overlap can be exhausting, but it also gives Selena a unique kind of power. Unlike many celebrities who try to tightly control their image, Selena leans into her humanity. She allows her fans to see the cracks, the struggles, the growth. And because of that, her career isn't just about the roles she plays or the songs she writes. It's about the person she is becoming in front of everyone's eyes. In a world where so much of celebrity culture feels manufactured, that authenticity makes her stand out. It keeps her relevant, not because of scandal or controversy, but because people genuinely want to see where her story goes next. Whether she's stepping on stage, releasing a new business venture, or simply showing kindness in a live stream, it all adds to the bigger narrative of Selena Gomez, someone who refuses to be defined by her past, but never denies it either. The fan community, known proudly as the Selenators, plays a huge role in shaping how Selena's story unfolds in the public eye. On one hand, they are her strongest shield. Whenever negative press or harsh comments surface, they mobilize instantly, flooding timelines with positivity, defending her from critics, and reminding the world of everything she's overcome. They're not just casual supporters. They're deeply invested in her well-being, almost like an extended family that refuses to let her face the noise alone. But that loyalty comes with its own challenges. Because they care so much, they also dissect every detail of her life. A cryptic caption, a sudden unfollow, a single lyric, fans can turn these into viral theories within minutes. While their intentions are often protective, this level of scrutiny can add even more pressure on Selena, who already navigates the relentless spotlight of fame. In a way, her biggest source of comfort is also a mirror that reflects every move she makes back at her, magnified and multiplied. Still, Selena seems to understand this double-edged dynamic. She rarely scolds her fanbase for speculating, but instead gives them enough real moments, whether through interviews, documentaries, or casual interactions, to channel their energy into something meaningful. That balance between openness and boundary is part of why her fans remain so fiercely loyal. They don't just feel like they're watching a celebrity, they feel like they're part of her story. Where fans often act like her defenders, the media tends to do the opposite, turning Selena's most vulnerable moments into headlines built for clicks. A simple freeze during an interview becomes health crisis speculation. A brief live stream appearance is framed as awkward or concerning. Even when Selena is just living her life, the tabloid lens often reshapes it into drama. Whether that's true or not, this is the cycle she has had to live with for more than a decade. From her early Disney days to the peak of her music career, every romance, every friendship, every rumored feud has been written about as if it were public property. And the frustrating part for fans is how the narrative can shift so easily, ignoring context or compassion. When Selena is open about her struggles, she's praised for being raw and real. But when she shows the natural effects of those same struggles, the tone suddenly turns into pity or criticism. Selena has spoken about this before, the exhaustion of constantly correcting false stories or ignoring the noise entirely. She knows that silence can be mistaken for confirmation, yet responding to everything would mean spending her entire life justifying herself. That's why, over the years, she's learned to pick her battles. She'll step in when it matters, especially when misinformation risks harming others. But more often than not, she lets the whirlwind spin around her while she stays grounded in her truth. That survival strategy has become one of Selena's defining strengths. She's mastered the art of sharing just enough, letting fans into her world through heartfelt posts, candid interviews, and even her documentary. But never so much that she loses herself to the machine of celebrity. It's a delicate balance that few manage to pull off. By choosing when to speak and when to stay silent, Selena has created boundaries that protect her peace. It's why her fans trust her. When she does open up, it feels real, not manufactured. Her words carry weight because they don't come every time a rumor trends, but in moments when she wants to connect or clarify on her own terms. That restraint has helped her keep control over her own story, even when outside voices try to twist it. In a way, her selective openness is a form of rebellion against the culture of overexposure. While so many stars try to stay relevant by oversharing, Selena has proven that withholding can be just as powerful. It reminds people that she's human first, not just content to consume. That's exactly why so many fans see Selena not just as a celebrity, but as a reflection of their own lives. Her struggles with health, heartbreak, and the pressures of fame aren't hidden behind a flawless image. They're spoken about openly, in ways that make people feel less alone in their own battles. When she talks about anxiety, or shares how difficult it was to recover from her kidney transplant, it doesn't come off as staged PR. It feels like a friend admitting something personal over coffee. That honesty has turned her fan base into something deeper than followers. It's a community. People rally around her not only because they admire her music or her acting, but because they see parts of themselves in her story. They recognize the strength it takes to keep moving forward while the world watches and judges. And in that recognition, they feel inspired to face their own challenges. And that's the paradox of Selena Gomez. She's one of the most famous women in the world, yet she manages to stay relatable, grounded, and vulnerable. It's a quality that keeps her career thriving while also protecting her identity as more than just a headline. At the end of the day, Selena Gomez is more than the rumors, the clips, or the speculation. She's a woman who has faced obstacles most of us can't imagine, yet still chooses to move forward with honesty and grace. Whether she's surprising fans with small acts of kindness, speaking openly about her struggles, or simply showing up authentically, she proves time and again that her story is bigger than headlines. And that's why people stay invested, not just in her career, but in her journey as a person. Whatever comes next, one thing is certain: Selena will continue to inspire through her resilience, her vulnerability, and her ability to remind us all that being human is more powerful than being perfect. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest updates. And as always, let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is far from over.